Hi there, Rebecca Kopla, back here again with Censored but Not Silenced. I have a piece running today on the Fox News website called Why Russian State Media is Obsessing About the Democratic National Convention and Praising Tim Walz. So we'll talk about that today briefly, and then if you'd like, you can just Google my name, Rebecca Coughlin, Fox News, and you can pull it up and get all of the details. Have you guys been watching the DNC convention? Some of my friends who are conservative and Republican refusing to watch it. And when I ask them why don't they watch it, they're like, well, we can't stand this stuff. Why wouldn't you watch it? Well, it's very simple. Guess why the Russians are watching it? They're watching it very, very closely. The Russian media is exploding with minute by minute coverage of the DNC powwow. Does anyone know the name of Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese strategist? He taught us to know everything about your opponent, about your enemy, and then you won't be afraid of. I'm paraphrasing here. He said something to the effect that know yourself and know your enemy, and then you will win 1,000 battles. So that's why the Russians are doing it. They're watching it very closely, and so any conservative, I believe, any Republican should be watching, because what's going on is complete lunacy. But we need to be able to debate. When you meet a person who is on the fence, we need to be able to debate their points and to give very, very specific rebuttal. But going back to the Russians, so here's why Putin's state media is obsessing over Tim Walz, why they're praising it, and why they're closely watching the DNC powwow. Russia has codified years ago the United States as a top adversary, top geopolitical adversary security threat to Russia. And therefore, they are trying to figure out which path are we taking, what team is going to be in charge after the November election, where they're going to take the country. Not necessarily to understand what would be better or worse for Russia. Why is that? It's because Putin's intelligence services already have concluded by doing what they call threat intelligence analysis. They have concluded that regardless whether it's a Republican or a Democrat who occupies the White House, U.S. policy towards Russia is the same. It's anti-Russian in their view. And so in reality, if you look at 40, 50 years worth of U.S. policy, whether it's President Clinton or George Bush, who was in the White House, or Obama or Trump or Biden, always starts the same. Every U.S. president starts off trying to be friends with Putin and have a reset with Russia, but then it inevitably fails, and then we just go about our own business trying to expand NATO and try to contain Russia. Well, the reason why the Russians are actually watching it so closely to see whether it's the Trump-Vance team or the Harris-Walz team that will be in charge is they want to know who will be better or worse for America. Why? Because if it's bad for America, it's good for Russia. And this is why on Wednesday, Kommersant, which is a Russian business journal, carried a full-page editorial on the biography of Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's VP pick. It accused the right-wing U.S. media of working to tarnish Walz's reputation by portraying the Minnesota governor as a secret agent for China. So they basically said that this is all lies. The whole thing about Tim Walz spreading the lies about his National Guard service and the specific rank in which he served was the misrepresentation created by the right-wing media. And this editorial was pointing to Walz's work promoting human rights and democracy in Hong Kong, religious freedoms, and things of that nature. So it was basically a hagiography. Moskovsky Komsomolets, which is translated as a Moscow young communist, marveled at Tim Walz's progressive liberal values and views that favor abortion, illegal immigration, legalization of narcotics, and gun control. Now, why would the Russian government do such a thing? Because in Russia, they vehemently oppose anything having to do with legalization of narcotics, illegal immigration. Zvestia also was praising unwavering support of LGBT rights by Tim Walz. And what's interesting is that Russia is the most dangerous place to live, one of the most dangerous places on earth when it comes to LGBT communities. In November, the Russian government banned LGBT movement as extremists, okay? Having ruled in a closed hearing in favor of the Justice Ministry's lawsuit accusing the LGBT movement of inciting social and religious discord. So, contrary to that, J.D. Vance almost got no coverage, and the only thing that the Russian state media had to say about him is that when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, they called his position pro-Ukraine and not pro-Russian. So it is clear that the Russians have concluded that the Harris-Walz presidency would mean that the U.S. will continue to march towards progressive extremism and socialism. As America would be overrun by illegal immigration, we will be depopulated by the abortions that, by the way, were offered for free during the DNC convention. It will be economically devastated by the Democrats' social policies, and that's good for Russia. So when y'all are gearing up for November, let's please make sure that you think it through. Which team is in a better position to take our country off of the destructive path of socialism and redirect it back onto the path of prosperity, law and order, religious freedom, freedom of speech, and freedom of thought. If you like my content, look for it on the Fox News website, New York Post, and other outlets, or follow my social media on Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, and everything else at Rebecca0132. Thanks, and I'll catch you later.